Well. Hello, my friends. Here it is. We are back. Eva Dias, your HR guru, for another show on HR Talk. And remember, I am here to help you with any questions you may have about human resources, career planning, talent management, any other related matter to human resources. I am the CEO and founder of Phoenix Human Capital Solutions. You can visit our site at www.phoenixhcsolutions.com. Okay, so let's get started. Well, you remember my kickoff show. I started talking about something very current and important for us right now at the workplace, which is the opening or reopening of businesses post-pandemic. Very well. Today I'm going to continue talking about this, giving the importance and the criticality for everyone that is dealing with that reopening. Whether you are a leader in your organization, an employee in your organization, it doesn't really matter what your role is. I think we are all involved in this particular situation, right? So, if you don't have yet an agenda or let's say a playbook to help you to manage, the return of your workplace to the office, I would like to suggest that you will reach out to me. Again, you can also send me an email, Eva Dias at phoenixhcsolutions.com. And I'd be very happy to discuss with you alternatives. So let's talk a little bit on what would be essential for this return. Well, the number one thing that organizations are dealing with is the ability of employees being or remain resilient and continue facing this challenge in a positive manner. Let's talk a little bit about this because I think the more we unveil everybody's pain and face it, more people may notice that perhaps this is not that bad, right? And please make no mistake, I'm not trying to underestimate the impact of this pandemic. Just trying to bring some sense of let's say positivity and reality to our lives, because life goes on, right? So, resilience. What is resilience? It is the ability for every human being to cope with difficult situations in a positive manner. And it is very important that your employees in the organization receive the right support to keep up with their resilience and make sure that they are not taken down. One element that has been really impacting all human beings, not only people at work, is mental health. I'm going to have in the next show a special chat on mental health. But, when I link it up to resilience, we need to make sure that our employees are really receiving the right support to keep, the show running and make sure that the workplace is going to be a great place to help them with that. The other thing is the number two important thing about returning to work is the safety measurements. We've talked about a lot about social distancing, using protective materials like gloves, masks, whatever it takes. Sometimes these materials can become very annoying. We know that. I mean, it's not fun to work every day or all day long with a mask on. And it's very important that you involve your workforce to define what works best for your company and for your workplace. Because if they are part of the solution, I can assure you they are not be creating as much problem for you. Okay? So, all right. So safety is very, very important. Third thing, uh, talking about keeping up with resilience is the psychological support. Whether this comes from your human resources group, with some sort of webinars to help people really learn mechanisms to maintain themselves strong during this phase because it's not over yet. Or you can hire people to talk about it. Again, whatever works better for you. But this is a special, very special piece of this moment of returning to work because it is your ability to support your employees that will dictate how successful this return will be. Do you agree with me? So if you do, send me an email. I would love to start interacting with you and listening to your opinions and what really you think about these things that I'm talking about here. Okay? So what else? If you remember also, my first show, I talked about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how the pandemic make it still very, very vivid. That despite the fact that we discuss a lot this theme, there is still a lot to be done. So try to make sure that you support the women at work, the women that has to go home and perhaps even work from home to accommodate schooling for their children. And this is the same women that has to accommodate their partners. And there is a lot going on for women. So they need special care and special accommodations. And that, I can assure you, doesn't necessarily mean that will impact their performance. Women have the ability to continue performing even in these challenging times. But please make sure that they are getting the right support to do this. Okay. What else? I think also it's very important that you educate your workforce to accept and live with this new way of operating in a positive manner. I talked about the webinars. I talk about many different things. But how about the leadership? The leadership is always in the front line of managing teams. Those leaders, they also need a lot of help in order to first reinvent themselves as leaders, incorporate the changes that the pandemic brought in, and revert this back to their teams. So very important, leaders. So let me recap here. Things that you can think of and put in your agenda for the returning to work. Number one, keep up with resilience and make sure that you help your employees to do the same. Number two, make sure that you have safety materials, safety policies in place to protect your employees and protect yourselves and your company. Number three, support your women at work. If they ask to be home, just let them to be home. There is nothing wrong with this anymore. Never had, but now more than ever. And number four, leaders. Make sure that you are also educating your leaders, giving them all the support they need to manage their teams properly in this new normal. It's a pleasure to be here again. My name is Eva Dias, CEO and founder of Phoenix Human Capital Solutions. Please don't forget to follow me in Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. So I love you all.